Welcome back to Most Amazing Top 10. My name is Danny Burke, and today guys we have the top 10 Hillary Clinton scandals. Hillary has been in the public eye since 1977. Now most politicians during their career have inspiring and proud moments, but they also might have some embarrassing, dark, or potentially even illegal moments too. Hillary is no exception to this, and we're going to take a look at some of these scandals by jumping into our number 10, which is Travelgate. In May 1993, with Bill Clinton as president, 7 White House employees were fired. This was very rare, and the reasons were quite unclear. The White House said it was to do with an FBI investigation, but alarms were raised when the positions were filled by people who were all close friends of the Clintons. The media instantly kicked off, and it was soon known as the Travelgate Scandal because they were all members of the travel office at the White House. Hillary was accused of being factually false about her role in the firings and hirings, but investigators found that there was insufficient evidence that Hillary's statements were either knowingly false or that she understood her statements led to the firings. This somewhat vague verdict means that Travelgate is still brought up in discussions of Clinton scandals. At number 9 now, we have the Clinton Foundation. Bill and Hillary founded the non-profit corporation known as the Clinton Foundation in 1997. When she became Secretary of State, a powerful position in the US government, Hillary agreed to distance herself from the charity and limit foreign donations as people were concerned that the foundation could be used as a kind of way for people to buy her and the influences that she had. The scandal broke when Peter Schweizer published a book called Clinton Cash, alleging that decisions made by the Hillary State Department seemed to be suspiciously responsive to big foreign donors to the foundation. Now the reason this is a scandal and not just an open and shut case is that it's difficult to prove that one donation directly resulted in a favourable outcome for the donor, although investigations are still continuing. Moving on to number 8, we have Monica Lewinsky. Now this scandal centers around Bill Clinton, but it's hard to ignore when talking about events in Hillary's life that caused a media frenzy. In 1998, it emerged that Bill Clinton had a sexual relationship with White House intern Monica Lewinsky. Now Bill Clinton famously told the nation,
"I did not have sexual relations with that woman."
But later, as the evidence mounted, he admitted to the nation that he did have an affair with her. As proceedings began to have Bill Clinton impeached as president, eyes turned to Hillary for her reaction. She was now entangled in the lies and deceit, but still stood by her husband, even going so far as to say it was a conspiracy against him before he admitted that it was all true. Now some people admired her courage and commitment to her husband, but others criticized her example and even said as First Lady she was showing other women that this sort of behavior is acceptable. Coming in at the number 7 spot now, we have the sniper fire scandal. On a number of different occasions, Hillary has claimed that when she visited Bosnia as First Lady in 1996 in the aftermath of the Bosnian War, there was supposed to be a greeting ceremony at the airport, but they had to run to their cars because apparently there was sniper fire. Now this story of a borderline war zone landing was later proven to be false when news footage emerged showing her landing perfectly normally and calmly greeting everyone during the welcoming ceremony that she said didn't happen, and also there was no sign of sniper fire anywhere. She later said that she misspoke and that there was only a threat of sniper fire in that area, not exactly the same picture she painted of having to basically tumble away from snipers. Next up at number 6 we have Filegate. In 1996, when Hillary was First Lady, it came to light that Craig Livingston, the White House security chief, had requested and received background reports from the FBI on hundreds of people, mainly former White House employees from previous Republican administrations. Many people were outraged that this sensitive information was given to him, and some said that Hillary herself had hired Craig Livingston and instructed him to get the files for political purposes, a sort of enemies list if you like. In the following inquiry, Hillary was blamed but ultimately cleared of any wrongdoing, saying she had not hired him, she didn't know him until after the event, and did not instruct him to get those files, leaving Filegate to be filed away among the files of scandals. Moving on to the number 5 spot now, we have stealing White House furniture. When Hillary and Bill Clinton left the White House in 2001, there were reports of them trying to steal furniture. Now under US law, the president must report gifts from people over a certain value, around $300. When Bill Clinton submitted his form, it totaled $190,000 worth of gifts gifts from people, ranging from furniture to golf clubs and even expensive china from Steven Spielberg. The thing is though, these people thought they were giving the gifts to the actual White House as part of a remodeling project there and not to the Clinton family. Now when this story broke, the Clintons returned and paid the government back for about $134,000 of it all. The critics said they had devalued the cost of some of the gifts and kept the whole thing quiet in order to essentially steal the furniture and other items from the White House. These days, most people put the whole thing down to the rules not being very clear back then on declaring presidential gifts, but some people still talk of the scandal where Bill and Hillary got caught taking things on their way out of the White House. Alright, coming in at number 4 now, we have Benghazi. In 2012, on September the 11th, no connection, during an uprising in the city of Benghazi in Libya, Islamic militants attacked a US compound. Chris Stevens, along with his aide and 2 CIA agents, were killed in the attack. The Republicans blamed the White House, President Obama and Secretary of State Hillary Clinton for not doing enough to prevent their deaths. Critics said they failed to provide adequate security for them and that when the attack happened, they told backup security forces to stand down. Investigations have found that although there was a lack of proper security, it was more down to a sort of bureaucratic inefficiency and that Hillary Clinton had neither approved nor denied requests for additional security there. The State Department themselves, headed by Hillary Clinton, admitted that there were gross inefficiencies but denied criminal negligence. One thing remains clear though, they did seem to downplay the severity of this being a real terrorist attack, possibly because of Obama's upcoming re-election, and it won't be the last time that we'll be hearing the term Benghazi. Next up at number 3, we have the Whitewater Affair. In 1978, Hillary and Bill were approached by 2 of their real estate friends, Jim and Susan McDougal, and they had an interesting investment opportunity. The 4 of them borrowed $203,000 to buy land in Arkansas and sell it as lots for vacation homes under their newly formed Whitewater Development Corporation. The project failed. The land was apparently terrible and the interest rates shot up and they began to lose a lot of money. Then Jim McDougal bought a loan company and through a series of very complex defrauding attempts he wound up getting $3 million out of it illegally. Federal investigators found the government would end up having to pay $73 million for this, but then something else came up. People started claiming that Bill and Hillary had actually pressured this guy into issuing a fraudulent $300,000 loan to cover up their Whitewater losses and had also paid off Bill Clinton's campaign debts when he was running for state governor, and that they knew all of this all along. Investigators prosecuted 15 people for fraud but cleared the Clintons, saying they were actually victims and not involved with these legal schemes. Still, the Whitewater scandal raged on during the 90s and even led to Bill Clinton being impeached as president. Still, they couldn't escape the Whitewater scandal and it raged on throughout the 1990s. Okay, for our number 2 now, we have Vince Foster. Vince Foster was a White House advisor during the first few months of Bill Clinton's presidency, advising him on a number of different legal matters. He was also a close friend to Hillary. On July 20th, 1993, he was found dead in a park outside Washington DC, having shot himself with a revolver. The ruling was suicide. The reason? Apparently depression and being overworked. But some people said that wasn't case closed. Over the previous year, Foster had been working for Bill and Hillary to smooth out the record on the whole Whitewater affair that we just talked about. Former FBI agents have come forward to say that Vince was not only depressed, he was also being bullied by Hillary. They said she ridiculed him in group meetings, even blaming him for Whitewater and saying he had failed them. Apparently, the investigation into his suicide pointed towards Hillary's rage as a possible factor in his depression. This blew up into a massive scandal over the years, with talks of a cover-up or even the Clintons staging his suicide. Subsequent investigations found no foul play and put it all down to suicide, but many conspiracy theorists out there still think there's a dark cloud over the topic of Vince Foster. And finally at number 1, we have the email scandal. What else could it be? If you have watched any of the presidential debates over the past few months, you've probably heard of this one. News broke in March 2016 that Hillary had been using a private email server and not a secure one during her 4 years as Secretary of State. This is a big no-no because not only does it allow someone to keep things hidden off the record away from a government server, but also government servers are a lot more secure when dealing with classified information. Now, the FBI are sifting through some 55,000 pages of emails to see if any of them broke the law when it comes to transparency or security. It's unlikely that she'll be found guilty of any of the crimes, as none of the information found was classified at the time it was sent, but yeah, it still begs the question, will this scandal continue looming over her in the coming months and years? And will any of the others come back to haunt her that we've talked about today? Which do you think was a big fuss about nothing, and which do you think still needs further investigation? Do you think there are any bigger scandals on the way, and who do you think will win this election? Only time will tell, I guess. My name is Danny Burke, you've been watching Most Amazing Top 10, and I'll see all you guys in the next video.